With us now is the governor of Colorado, another state that is getting back to business. I am joined now by Governor Jared Polis. Governor, thank you so much for joining us. So it's almost been 3 weeks since Colorado lifted its stay-at-home orders. Can you give us a sense of what has been working and what has been a challenge so far?
Yeah, we're really trying hard to do this in a very orderly way. Nothing's perfect, but what that means is there's really strong guidelines. For instance, if you're getting your hair cut, and I got mine cut recently, both the person cutting the hair wears a mask, the person getting the haircut wears a mask. We also have limitations on how many people are in the salon at the same time. And then we have several counties in our state where restaurants have reopened. I think we're at 6 counties or so far. And our goal is really to being able to do it in a safe way by the end of May.
Have you seen any uptick in numbers since the opening got underway?
It's been steady so far, but we wouldn't really see those numbers for another week because of the delay between when somebody's exposed, then they have symptoms and they get tested. And so we're really, cautiously optimistic. There hasn't been any kind of spike yet, but we really need another week of data to be able to make sure we're able to continue to move forward.
I know that you've probably seen that viral video of a packed restaurant in Castle Rock, Colorado, which essentially defied state orders and opened to sit-down dining on Mother's Day. You called it an immediate health hazard. The business had its license suspended, although it continues to operate. There are other restaurants in Colorado that are also defying state orders, with some saying this is a matter of their economic survival. What is your message to both the restaurant operators and to the ordinary folks who went into that restaurant on Mother's Day? And as you can see, it was pretty crowded.
Well, and that's the problem, right? Because restaurants that are reopening in Colorado legally are doing it in a way that has social distancing. We're really excited about opportunities to have outdoor dining where there can be more spacing. The truth is that for restaurants to stay in business, and I think we all value having restaurants in our society, they have to be able to operate. And so we've been working very closely with them, and it really hurts all the other restaurants that are trying to open or are open in some way in some limited capacity, but are playing by the rules and keeping people safe, when just a few bad actors engage in this completely risky behavior, which risks a whole nother outbreak.
To what extent, I should ask, to what extent are you willing and other officials willing to go to enforce that restaurants that do defy orders are forcibly abiding by stay-at-home orders?
Well, restaurants have health conditions they normally operate under. Even without, in normal times, we're always worried about hepatitis or bacterial outbreaks. Restaurants are sometimes closed. So clearly, if there's a health hazard at a restaurant and they're becoming a venue for coronavirus transmission by not respecting the safety protocols, it's no different than if they weren't respecting the bacterial or hepatitis safety protocols. The health inspectors will need to remove their license so they can correct their mistakes and be safe again.
You visited President Trump at the White House a couple of days ago. Take us inside the room for a little bit. What did you discuss? And are you satisfied with the response coming out of the White House and this administration, including, as you probably heard a reporter say, these new guidelines coming out from the CDC on the way forward?
Well, look, we, like every state, we have a partnership with the federal government. They're one of our suppliers for masks, for tests. We've opened up our own suppliers as well. We have imported tests from South Korea, masks from both domestically and internationally. But it is important that the president know what's really going on in the country. I do worry that he's sequestered there in the White House and not really hearing about the pain that small businesses are feeling, the fear and anxiety that everyday Americans are feeling. And so I really wanted to be a voice for that and also tell them about some of our plans in Colorado for getting back to as close to normal in a safe way.
As we mentioned, the House is working on another stimulus bill, which would include another round of stimulus checks and $1 trillion for cash-strapped states. One new report shows Colorado is facing a $3 billion budget shortfall. You served as a congressman. Give us an assessment of, your state, and what's your message to your colleagues, your former colleagues, who may want to help states like yours?
Yeah, state and local governments are really incurring most of the costs of this crisis, meaning we're the ones out there with 32 free testing sites across Colorado. We're the ones that are activating the National Guard, and we have to pay for a portion of that. So this partnership with the federal government is also important to help make sure that we can have a way as a nation to pay for some of these costs. I'm really optimistic they'll get there. This is sort of the first a bill. It's a House bill. I think there'll be a negotiation, but I really think that increasingly Democrats and Republicans understand the need to really make sure that we have the resources where they're needed to combat not just the spread of the virus for the foreseeable future, but also to mitigate some of the economic impacts.
And finally, you're asking your fellow statesmen there in Colorado to observe a day of remembrance later tonight. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, we lost over 1,000 people so far to COVID-19 in Colorado. Brothers, sisters, sons, daughters, grandparents, aunts, and uncles. And it's just when you pass that kind of milestone, first of all, it's never anything to celebrate. We're grateful we didn't have the kind of numbers per capita that New York had. We would have lost 10 or 15 times as many Coloradans. But at the same time, we just want to make sure people know that there's a story and a name behind all 1,000 plus of those victims in our state. And that's really what it's all about. And many of them weren't able to have those celebrations of life or public funerals. So we're doing it together. We're lighting up our buildings red at 7 p.m. And we're thoughtfully and respectfully celebrating the lives of those who we've lost.
Thank you for checking out our YouTube channel. Why don't you subscribe? It's really easy. Just click on that button down there. And for more news from MSNBC, click on any of these videos here for the latest interviews and highlights. You can get more videos from MSNBC with our newsletters. Head over to msnbc.com/newsletters to sign up.